review recommendations will enhance the Commission's ability to deliver on its constitutional mandates to conduct credible elections in Sierra Leone. In closing, Your Excellency, I wish to thank colleague commissioners of the ECSL and staff of the Commission who participated actively during the review process. I just want to bring out a comment on the promotion. Before I assumed office for the 2 decades, staff promotion was stagnant. But when I assumed office, during my period, I promoted 75 staff from the Commission. So the promotion, that was possible because of the expansion of the Commission in terms of directorates. But we agree we need to have a proper system in place, or improved system in place, to ensure that promotions are done and benefit everybody. Your Excellency, again, I appreciate your efforts and your continued belief that Sierra Leone will only survive as a nation if we continue to work together in peace and harmony. Thank you so much. God bless Sierra Leone.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. The man I want to talk to today is Reverend Lahai. That's the man I'm going to talk to today, Reverend Lahai. Reverend Lahai is the coordinator, the national coordinator for N.E.W. He is the man that I'm going to speak with. He is the person that I have this live for. And I'm going to take you guys back when Reverend Lahai was being authentic to himself and he spoke the truth. I'm going to give you guys an interview that he did back in 2021. As you guys can see, an interview that he did in 2021. I'm going to show you that interview. And then we're going to go to, what Reverend Lahai is saying now, N.E.W. All right. So that is what this live is all about. This is about Reverend Lahai. Reverend Lahai, who is the national coordinator for N.E.W. in Sierra Leone. This is the person who this live is for. Do you guys remember this event? This event was on June 5th, right here, where presentation of report to President Bio on review of Electoral Commission. So this was a fictitious report put together by themselves. Of course, the opposition, nobody represented the opposition in this whole review process. They said they are reviewing ECSL. We are to believe that them reviewing ECSL, this means that Sierra Leone is going to have some of the best election outcomes you can ever think about. Free, fair elections, because they've reviewed ECSL. We've always told you guys there's never been an issue with the laws in Sierra Leone. What we have in Sierra Leone are filthy pigs. These are people that are not patriotic to the country. They're not patriotic to themselves. They don't care about the reputation of our country. All they're doing, these are guys that are pushing their tribal epithets, pushing their tribal heritage, pushing their tribal connections, pushing political party agenda, pushing their Bo School agenda, pushing a radical agenda, all of these cultic things that they've been doing over the years. It's not about the electorates of Sierra Leone. They don't care about the will of the people. They don't care about democracy. Marabio himself, as illegal as he is, occupying the office of the presidency, does not care. But the sad part is, Marabio by himself will not be able to accomplish some of what he has accomplished up until this point, to even stay in power for 2 years after he lost an elections. Marabio is able to accomplish these because the civil society arms of government, these civil society individuals, the people that are supposed to stand with the people to go against the arms of governments that are destroying democracy, civil society organizations have actually aided and abated in the destruction of democracy in Sierra Leone. So N.E.W. is one of those organizations. So you look at N.E.W., we're talking about Marcela Samba, but I'm not talking about Marcela Samba today. I'm going to deal with Marcela Samba another day. But I promised you guys that I was going to do a live on all of these people that were present at this event, this launching of this Electoral Commission. The news cycle moves so fast. I know everybody forgets. This was 11 days ago, because this event was done on the June 5th at State House. They presented a report. So Reverend Lahai is the first person I'm going to take on. Like I told you guys, I promised you all that I'm going to take on all of these people that were present at that event. I'm going to expose these people for who they are, so Sierra Leoneans can see them for who they are. You see, because we have to remind ourselves, I don't think Reverend Lahai is a bad person. But at the end of the day, we have a responsibility to take a principled position. What has happened in Sierra Leone over the years is that people have not been able to take a principled position. People have not been able to take a principled position to say, you know what, this is where I stand, this is what I believe, and nothing is going to change me. No amount of bribery, no amount of coercion, no amount of oppression, no amount of suppression, no amount of harassment is going to make me change my position, right? That is what we're lacking in Sierra Leone. We have a set of Sierra Leoneans that lack the moral fortitude, they lack the moral courage, the sagacity to stand up to oppression, to coercion, to repression. They don't have it. That is what we have in Sierra Leone, and that is the problem that we have today. And again, talking about Dr. Samara Kamara, the fact that there's an ongoing political transition, I've been asking, and Sierra Leoneans are asking and demanding to hear from Dr. Samara Kamara so we would know where we're at with the ongoing political transition. What is stopping the process? What is delaying the process? Why they've not been able to hand over power to him up until this point? Why is Julius Malabio not stepping aside so that him, Dr. Samara Kamara, can be reinstated as the rightful winner of the June 24th, 2023 elections? We want to know ongoing political transition. What is stopping that process, right? That's a very crucial point that has to be noted. I'm going to get to that at some point. But like I said, today I want to talk to Reverend Lahai. So let us listen. This was what you had just now was just Mohamed Kanawi kind of, speaking gibberish. I'm not going to deal with him yet. Mohamed Kanawi, we're not going to deal with him. He's, as far as I know, he does not even exist in my world. But we'll get to his point. Today, I want to talk to Reverend Lahai of New, because, I see them sprouting up. I see all of these people coming up now. They think 2 years is enough. Let's forget it. Everybody move on. It's over. Marabio is going to stay in power. Is going to continue to stay in power. And that's the end of it. It's over. Let's move on. I have hypocritical Sierra Leoneans telling us to move on in a country where we don't have the elections results, that was done, where the people, it's all about the people's power, right? Democracy, power of the people, for the people, and by the people, right? So we've seen a situation where, democracy is being eroded in Sierra Leone today, where the voices of the people does not matter. But let us listen to Reverend Lahai. Like I said, I'm going to play a video from 2021 first, and then I'll bring you guys Reverend Lahai in 2025. All it took was 4 years, all right? I'm going to play that video first. I want you guys to listen to this. It was on 98.1 back then, and it was very adamant about the fact that the SLPP were not doing what they were supposed to do for us to have credible, free, and fair elections. Let's listen to this interview together from Radio 98.1 back then, 2021.
1 minute after 8 and the time from the studio clock, we come back to Reverend James A. Lahai, the national coordinator for New. Maybe they make mention of issues them way they don't monitor so far we get to do with elections and how that could affect and bog salon democracy. We talk about the issue we get to do with the Tenkol Mbaba election will be happening, issues them will be come out from there. But as at the taken from that Q day, una don't monitor different elections, we una don't get findings we can discuss and response can come out from different elections management body them and self overhaul. At times we can get government representative them, we can respond to some of them concerns here. We can come out from una like civil society like New we don't observe elections. The response them we una don't get from different election management body them and overall from sometimes the government. Una think say they don't take issues them una don't raise over the years as serious as it's supposed to be.
Then they become deaf to the point that they're not hearing again. And when you explain, now in the town like they hears the cock more, and it is dangerous. Make I explain give una when una they do elections pre-assessment, waiting involve. You know they manufacture findings. You they go into the community, engage various stakeholders, anybody will get something for do with the issues, get their opinion, ask them back for recommendations, waiting you feel say go happen where that thing they not go be. Now the same thing can happen. That team will come, not can manufacture anything. They engage various stakeholders in the country, including the duty bearers. They even meet the president. And after all them consultations and engagements, they come out with waiting at the findings. And let me tell you, let nobody not deceive himself say, when we observe with findings, we get for can discuss and with you first. For let you guide, we say, no, this input and day because na be mistake we make it. No. The period where we want for you read that, now the time of engagement with you. When we they discuss the issues, where you say, they tell we say, now this, now this, now this. And when you they talk back, the one where they left, where you know they talk through body language, would they pick all.
So,
and at that day they inform whatever press release would they pull.
So when you start for talking, so much emphasize say them be don't do one before. Is it that you think say the authority then now they feel say on a presence previously no be don't come out like how now they come out so strong? Now it make that they feel say before maybe new no be they come out and take them kind stand here for talk about things that when a lapses to democracy.
It's just being dishonest and insincere to their consciences. Who now aware na where there be the label we say we na SLPP. There might be the label we know also from the blue so.
Oh, that be the label now.
That time they na APC be the label with that time. They were in government. You see, this thing is like a musical chairs, and they are disadvantaging themselves. They don't even know. When you allow the wrong things for begin happening, but I don't know what happened with politicians. They know they even read between the lines. This was the same posture of APC. They felt they're going to remain in power forever and ever. And so those things that they should correct, they failed to correct them, which is what is haunting them now. They want them now corrected, but those who the thing was against, it is now in favor of them. So they are now protecting it. Failing to note that they will not be there forever. And now they are not trying to put the wrongs right, so that everybody would be fine at the end of the day. We, the citizens, are the victims. Because it's like a vicious circle. Let me give you this example. The issue of the constitutional review. This was a very strong advocacy instrument of the SLPP in their new direction.
We're going to come to this constitutional review, but I want to show you guys now, currently, what Reverend Laai is up to. So again, June 5th, Reverend Laai was part of the people that presented the report to Madabio, saying it was representing civil society. So I want you to see now the way Reverend Laai speaks. And this again goes to, I'm just reminding Reverend Laai, we have a responsibility to protect democracy. But I want you to listen to the speech of Reverend Laai. I want you to listen to it. Let us listen to Reverend Laai together. All right? Listen to this. Reverend Lahai is about to take the pulpit now, the stage.
For those words of assurance for full implementation of the recommendations. Your Excellency, electoral processes have also been underscored by strong civil society participation. Therefore, it's now my pleasure to invite the National Coordinator of National Election Watch, which is the coalition of CSOs, for a response.
I want you guys to listen to Reverend Lahai now.
Your Excellency, through the office of the Chief Minister, I want to express our gratitude to you for saving this country from a looming chaos. Because the aftermath of the 2023 elections did not promise a vibrant democracy until for your smart decision to note that even though you are head of state and you have won the elections, you have to listen to the...
I want you guys to pay attention to the language this man is using. Even though you have won the elections, this man knew, he knows about the PVT that they have at NEW, Marcella Samba's organization, NEW. This man knows that Marabio did not win the elections. This man knows that the results of the elections are not available. But listen to his language. I don't want to interrupt this. I don't want to interpret anything. I want you guys, if you've listened to what he said 4 years ago, I want you to listen now how this man is showering praise on Marabio, the same man that he was complaining about. How we are rigging elections, not doing the right things, and all of that. Because I'm going to get back to that video. We're going to take it from that video and continue playing that video. But I want you to listen to what this man is saying on June 5th now. I want you to listen to the language. Sad.
to the prevailing circumstances and save the nation.
I'm gonna go back.
Of the Chief Minister, I want to express our gratitude to you for saving this country from a looming chaos. Because the aftermath of the 2023 elections did not promise a vibrant democracy until, for your smart decision to note that even though you are head of state and you have won the elections, you have to listen to the prevailing circumstances and save the nation. Thank you for agreeing to have the tripartite committee and for bending over to ensure that there was stability in the country. The issue of the tripartite committee is a very serious thing for us as observers. We have been observing elections since 2002, and we organized ourselves because we believed that elections should be a pillar for peace and not chaos. Unfortunately, every succeeding election has ended in disagreements and potential tension and violence. So you will be leaving a legacy that will speak for you when you no longer be on the seat, of creating a situation whereby the Electoral Commission is organized in a manner whereby going against the rules may be difficult and credible elections will be ensured. So we appreciate you for that and we thank you. Noting the taste of brevity for the...
I'm going to pause right there. We're going to come back. Let us play the other video, the previous video where we stopped, of this man complaining. This was 2021. This video was 2021. Complaining. And then you listen to him lavishing praise on Madabi. Listen to him. Listen to him here.
Manifesto. Which was manifesto? Advocacy instrument of the SLPP in their new direction manifesto, which was not going to cost a referendum or this or that, to come out with a white paper and inform this country about the decisions of government with regards to those recommendations. And please, 1 minute. At the recently concluded conference when NEC called on election observer missions and recommendations, the Deputy Attorney General and Minister of Justice boldly talked at that conference, say, Cabinet don't conclude the white paper on those recommendations. And he give we confidence that that conference say, as the president come back so, that white paper will be made public, and that the white paper take on board or agree to over 95% of the recommendations from the CRC. So what is happening? That the president not carry it?
We will go back for a look at the issue we get for do with this press release we come out from the EU election follow-up mission. One thing we not seem for come out clear yet from the election management body, the way they make mention of now the press release where they pull we get for do with the significant decrease where they sit on the pan trust from salon people in their institutions then yeah. Now as to reason why the salon people and when they talk to being give that kind of response, they say they don't lost trust in their institutions, and they make mention of the police, judiciary, NEC, PPRC and other one they say etc. But from una we don't they monitor elections. Tell salon people them waiting at some of the things them where una don't observe say they happen na their institutions here we make people they lost trust in them. Especially we they find ourselves in a critical situation. Just now, we get for do with the 2023 elections. And if trust not there in their institutions here where they manage the elections, how it will get for come out? Waiting at some of the triggers them when I don't they see when I calls for the people and lost trust.
Maybe I go use we election pre-assessment of the Watch-N.E.W district by-elections will take place. We go do a pre-assessment of the political environment before the elections. And we came out with a press release outlining our findings and what actions must be taken to ensure that that election was free from violence, it was transparent, accountable, and credible. Now only PPRC respond to them thing they will raise by coming out with a press release for say, you will not get business na Watch-N.E.W district, don't go there. The police did not act, NEC did not act, those who should take action did not, and the very things we said would happen if they do not take those actions were the things that happened.
So why won't I cannot foresee some of the danger of violence which can happen at certain elections, whether not by election or so? On a can go to the authority, them for ensure say the election be peaceful, fair, and also not get any doubts. They're not can really consider some of the things that we on can outline, despite on an institution where they represent the interest of the public.
Yes, very interesting. But I'll tell you, now make what we tell the other road one, we come back and tell the public that we tell them say this go create problem. Oh. You know, say what they do that they don't want to let them call them and tell them things that's what they do. The way that they respond to this particular press statement from the EU delegation, don't tell you say they want to refine things them by themselves, okay. But they are doing otherwise. Okay. So now make what they not do, would they talk just like whatever I said? We are just one and the same. We are election observers. Okay. They're not all area. All right. So we continue to say it.
Okay. Okay, Reverend James Laai, continue for the between at the program.
Okay. This is Reverend Lahai. This is 2021. When I listen to Reverend Lahai, but now I'm going to take you back to what is happening June 5th. This man in a state house. When I listen to this man where they shower praise on Julius Marabio. When I listen to this man where it is shower praise on Julius Marabio. Don't take my word for it. Listen to him.
Implementation of the recommendations. Your Excellency, electoral processes have also been underscored by strong civil society participation. Therefore, it's now my pleasure to invite the National Coordinator of National Election Watch, which is a coalition of CSOs, for a response.
And you guys remember, right? Everything he was saying. Who was the president? Marabio. They did not take action. Listen to him now where he can shower praise on Marabio. He's showering praise on Marabio.
Your Excellency,
listen.
Through the office of the Chief Minister, I want to express our gratitude to you.
I want you to bear in mind, this is the same man that was complaining that these guys were not listening to them. The administration not listening to them. Marabio was not listening to them. They were warning about the elections until EU, the European Union, pulled out a report saying they have no trust in the institutions. Marabio was the president at the time. This man, listen to him now. He has forgotten all of those issues that happened. Listen to him showering praise on Marabio, how Marabio brought peace. Because, listen, you know, we're not making up this thing. Listen, man, listen.
For saving this country from a looming chaos. Through the office of the Chief Minister, I want to express our gratitude to you for saving this country from a looming chaos. Because the aftermath of the 2023 elections did not promise a vibrant democracy until, for your smart decision to note that even though you are head of state and you have won the elections, you have to listen to the prevailing circumstances and save the nation.
Reverend Lahai, how did you know that Marabio won the elections? Reverend Lahai is a reverend. Reverend Lahai of New National Election Watch. Where is the results that proved that Julius Marabio won the elections? Reverend Lahai, we have asked for the disaggregated data. Reverend Lahai, you were complaining back in the day. You were complaining that these guys are not listening to you, Reverend Lahai. What changed? What happened? I want you to listen to yourself, Reverend Lahai. Listen to yourself. What changed?
And what actions must be taken to ensure that that election was free from violence, it was transparent, accountable, and credible. Now only PPRC respond to them thing they will raise by coming out with a press release for say, you will not get business. Nakwenadugu district, don't go there. The police did not act. NEC did not act. Those who should take action did not. And the very things we said would happen if they do not take those actions were the things that happened.
So why won't I cannot foresee some of the danger of violence which can happen at certain elections, whether not by election or so? On a can go to the authority, them for ensure say the election be peaceful, fair, and also not get any doubt. They're not can really consider some of the things the way on can outline, despite on an institution where they represent the interest of the public.
Yes, very interesting. But I tell you, now make what we tell the other road one. Would they come back and tell the public that will tell them, say, this go create problem. Oh.
Okay.
You know, say, what they do that, they don't want to let them call them and tell them, say, that's what they do.
Right.
The way that they respond to this particular press statement from the EU delegation.
Right.
Don't tell you, say, they want to refine things them about themselves.
Right.
But they are doing otherwise.
Yes.
So now you make, what they not do, would they talk? Just like whatever I said, we are just one and the same. We are election observers.
Okay.
They're not all area.
Right.
Okay.
So we continue to say it.
Okay, Reverend James Laai, continue for the between at the program.
So guys, this is Reverend Lahai. This is Reverend Lahai. 3-4 years ago. Then Reverend Lahai was present now at State House June 5th, 2025. Lavishing praise on Madabio, the same person he was complaining that did not take no actions with everything they were recommending. The buck stops with the president. When institutions are not doing what they're supposed to do, the president has a responsibility to ensure that those institutions do what they're supposed to do. We saw the rigging of the June 24th, 2023 elections coming from afar. We were raising hell about it. The opposition is just as useless. But Reverend Lahai, these civil society organizations are the people that are responsible to protect democracy. Now listen to Reverend Lahai. Lavish in praise on Madabio. Listen to him.
For full implementation of the recommendations. Your Excellency, electoral processes have also been on the
I'm going back and forth replaying because I wanted to stick. I want you guys to understand where we're coming from.
It's a pleasure to invite the National Coordinator of National Election Watch, which is the coalition of CSOs, for a response.
Listen to Reverend Lahai. Lavish in praise on Madabio, the same man that was responsible for the rigging of elections, the same man that was responsible for the violence of elections in Sierra Leone. Listen to Reverend Lahai of NEW, National Election Watch.
Through the office of the Chief Minister, I want to express our gratitude to you for saving this country from a looming chaos. Because the aftermath of the 2023 elections did not promise a vibrant democracy until for your smart decision to note that even though you are head of state and you have won the elections, you have to listen to the prevailing circumstances and save the nation. Thank you for agreeing to have the tripartite committee and for bending over to ensure that there was stability in the country. The issue of the tripartite committee is a very serious thing for us as observers. We have been observing elections since 2002, and we organized ourselves because we believed that elections should be a pillar for peace and not chaos. Unfortunately, every succeeding election has ended in disagreements and potential tension and violence. So you will be leaving a legacy that will speak for you when you no longer be on the seat of.
I want you to understand these words, leaving a legacy. This is basically, like I said again, the one that will light the fire are the ones that are coming to cool the fire down. So the arsonists that lit the fire are the ones coming back around to say that, oh, so it's Marabio was responsible for the rigging of the June 24th, 2023 elections. This man was complaining that all through the process, all the recommendations that they made, nobody, no government institution except for PPRC, but none of these SLPP folks, everything that they've recommended, all the recommendations they've made, no one from the government paid attention to them. This man was complaining, but now he's telling us that Marabio is going to leave a legacy. The same man that was responsible for the rigging of the June 24th, 2023 elections, now they tell us they left a legacy because the man rigged the elections. After he rigged the elections, he come back and say, okay, let's discuss this. Let's talk about it. I've rigged the election. What is going to come out of this? Nothing. Let's come. Let's have the tripartite. Let's have a negotiation. Let's talk about this. Let's find a reasonable way to. So basically, he's giving praise and thanks to the man who lights the fire in the first place, burn down the building. Then the man can light the fire and burn the building. Come back, he said, I can't this fire. He praise him back. He knows that the man this will light the fire, will cause the fire. But because the man don't come for out the fire, he praise the man will come because he said I can't out the fire back. How can you praise the arsonist will light the fire? How you go praise the person who can burn the house, but he come back for can hot the fire? You praise and say don't can do well because you don't can out the fire. This is what Reverend Lahai is doing. This is why I say again, these people don't have a principled position. You have to have a principled position in life. Stick where you are. Reverend Lahai, if even they were invited you to this event, your words should have been very harsh and strong. Go back all the things that you've said. How elections have been destroyed in this country. Going back all the way through. You made recommendations back in the days, 2-3 years before these elections, but nobody listened to you. The government failed to listen to you guys. The government failed to listen to New. New, for God's sake, had the PVT. I have presented evidences after evidences of people coming out here and talking about these things and making it known that the elections were rigged in Sierra Leone. We've had the German professor talk about the fact that the elections in Sierra Leone were rigged. We've had these conversations again and again. But these guys seem to not have a clue of what is actually going on. And now Reverend Lahai is going here. They go talk to, Marabio because he is in front of her now. And they talk like for say, oh, Marabio, naina the man way make we don't get peace de like today. Without even mentioning the fact that the sacrifice we Dr. Samora Kamara make for somebody who won an elections, but decided to say, you know what? Want to resolve this issue amicably and peacefully without having, people losing their lives, right? This man, Dr. Samora Kamara, actually, decide to say that, let us do this way instead of having bloodshed again because our people have lost their lives. Let us be civilized. You guys have played this German professor for you guys. Let us listen to this German professor again, what he said.
Hello, my name is Simon Primus and I am an assistant professor of political science at the Friedrich Alexander University of Nuremberg-Erlangen in Germany. For several years, I have been working on voting behavior in Africa's transitional democracies. And in this video, I discuss voting patterns in Sierra Leone, particularly in light of the highly contentious recent presidential election. First, a quick breakup of the events. Sierra Leone is a West African country with a population of roughly 9 million and has written a remarkable democratization success story. Despite grappling with one of the lowest per capita incomes globally, the country has been a highly competitive democracy for 2 decades and experienced 2 peaceful turnovers of power. On the 24th of June 2023, Sierra Leone held its general elections. After 2 days of counting, the Electoral Commission announced the re-election of incumbent President Julius Maada Bio, securing 56% of the national vote. His victory was just above the crucial 55% threshold required to avoid a runoff against opposition candidate Kamara. As often in transitional democracies, the winner is celebrating and the loser is crying foul. However, in this particular case, both national and international observers have raised significant concerns about the official result, pointing to logistical problems, statistical inconsistencies, and a notable lack of transparency in the tabulation of results. Many experts, including the renowned political scientist and author of How to Rig an Election, Nick Cheeseman, suggest the election was rigged. The most compelling evidence comes from the parallel vote tabulation conducted by the civil society coalition New Sierra Leone. Accurately predicted the official outcome. However, this year several inconsistencies have emerged. Most notably, the vote shares of the main candidates significantly deviate from the projected results. Incumbent Julius Maada Bio's official vote share is 5.8% higher than in the parallel vote tabulation, while opposition leader Samura Kamara is down by 5.3%. Importantly, both deviations exceed the margin of error defined by the PVT. The inconsistencies clearly indicate that the vote was rigged to lift President Bio over the 55% threshold for a first-round victory. While the parallel vote tabulation stands as strong technical evidence, it is also insightful to inquire the plausibility of the results. When we investigate the voting behavior of Sierra Leoneans, we find certain patterns that render it highly unlikely that President Bio secured such a clear victory. And this is
Guys, yeah, this is what journalists in Sierra Leone should be doing. But you look at some of these journalists in Sierra Leone, then while we get their small YouTube channel here and Facebook pages, then picking it out in a Liberty TV and all of that, all day what they're doing is bringing people to come and talk. They have no opinions on their own. They cannot share these kinds of things that I'm sharing with you. Because again, there's no independence when it comes to the media in Sierra Leone. But this is a German professor who did a research and using the PVT. The PVT was what Reverend Lahai then puts together. And then the same Reverend Lahai today is this same Reverend Lahai here showering praise on Maada Bio. The same Reverend Lahai. PVT proved that Maada Bio did not win the elections. Reverend Lahai is claiming that Maada Bio won the elections, Sierra Leoneans. This is the point I'm making to you all. This is the level of disingenuousness that we have in our nation, and this is why the country would never move forward. Sierra Leoneans, we shouldn't take these things lightly. I'm taking my time, I'm sacrificing my time to talk about these kinds of issues. It's love for country. It's not about APC, SLPP. It's about the destiny of our nation. We've been sacrificing. This is 7 years coming. Taking the time to teach civic education, get voter participation, encourage our people to be a part of the process. We've been doing this because we love democracy, and we know that democracy works, but it takes civilized people for it to work. We've established these facts. We've made it very clear that democracy works, but it takes civilized individuals. If you're a pig, if you are just useless and you are not patriotic to your country, democracy is not going to work. If you're selfish, if you're a criminal, if you're a thief, democracy is not going to work. We've made it very, very clear that this is why we have to stand up and take a position. And that is why I'm reminding Reverend. I'm reminding Reverend Lahai to understand that what is happening in Sierra Leone is a travesty and we should not allow it. We should not allow it. These are the same people that should protect our democracy. They rigged the elections, took us to, for us to use proportional representation instead of using constituency-based elections. All of those were meant to rig the elections. Reverend Lahai knows these things. I'm not making these things up. Reverend Lahai knows these things. He knows these issues, but he's praising Maada Bio today. Reverend Lahai is praising Maada Bio. I want Reverend Lahai to listen to what his own boss had to say. Masala Samba knows. Masala Samba knows that the elections were rigged. Reverend Laai works for Masala Samba. Listen.
They look at, and one thing where they really cite out gets to do with the replacements. They make example.
This is Marcela Samba now. Let's
Just
listen.
quickly bring Marcela Samba Sise inside. The other day we been get the judiciary, the communications head na the studio, they talk about then same issues here. We get for do with this release where they look at. And one thing where the release site out gets for do with the replacements. They make example of the replacement of the MPs them where after the election we've been see the decision we've been come out na courts. For democracy na salon, waiting the representative they talk here on Monday. From the judiciary, he said them been do this as part of precedents when they said them be done, other government be done set in 2012, sorry. So from then kind of precedents here, if we see judiciary, for example, they continue with then kind of precedents here, waiting it go for mean for salon democracy.
When you dey draw inference to that interview there from the head of communication for the judiciary, it just show the degree to which the judiciary, the concerns for the judiciary day. That was not the representation of the judiciary we may go proud of from a country. And I think say it will be good for let the judiciary look inwards, that kind of representation. If that was what they put together to respond to the statement, I am afraid say we get a long road with the judiciary in this country.
Okay.
We are calling for moments of reflection.
Okay.
Removing 10 MPs from parliament is wrong. Okay. If not that precedence we want lay for democratic track, with man called trajectory. Now democratic track that one day. So that we possibly make one bad decision, we can complement them by making 10 wrongs.
Okay.
That democratic track they go bring we down as a country. It's not good.
Thank you.
But we don't say this over and over. This do me or do you, they destroy this country.
Thank you.
They destroy, we add one democracy. People need to understand, say, this democracy, so people die for them.
Thank you.
August 18, we were part of the students who were marching down to Freetown. That is
Okay.
enough is enough. This war for done.
Okay.
You know, the student leader. People die for them.
Okay.
So people want to see a situation where peace and stability go there. Let them go understand, say, we life go before.
Okay.
It's too much of this.
Okay.
It's too much of this. The judiciary in any society for able for organize themselves, for able for institute in an independent manner justice and adjudicate on the matters. Let's tell you, this electoral legal reform what they talk so, it span from the electoral offenses, the petitions them we're going to the court of justice in this country.
Okay.
The electoral offenses, 285 case now reach the courts. That's not only one that we tap na police station. No.
Okay.
The one that we actually reach the courts.
Okay.
Almost get conviction 5.
Okay.
All the other one then to where they say
Okay.
lack the necessary ingredients.
All right.
For let them prosecute those matters. You know what to do with the talk?
All right.
This? It brings impunity on these
Okay.
issues.
Okay.
When people then go scatter ballot box in the eyes of the law enforcement officers.
Okay.
Nobody they no arrest.
Okay.
People then go, they march stealthily, ride na Koinadugu, then burn ballot boxes.
Okay.
Nothing they not do.
Okay.
Now the situation they get worst.
All
And
right.
they say no. Enough for Biso. Justice. In fact, you talk and they say waiting justice delays, justice denied. This thing we don't need international for counsel. We don't make us say it's a shame to the one that they head those institutions.
Okay.
It's a shame to the advisors because all the politicians, they are politicians. They don't understand some of these things.
Okay.
But you when a professional, you then at the legal system. You don't go through robust education. You don't go through law school. You know there is also the aspect of ethical conduct in all of this where public office forget.
Right.
You know say whenever you do anything so wrong, you they breed aggrieve people in the society. Then you they continue for do them.
Right.
That is not the posture we want. There's been a lot of investment, post-conflict investment in the judiciary because it's the hub of transformation of the society. If Sierra Leone for transition to peace, we should have the necessary institution where they guide we for be stable within that peace
So like
setting.
institutions
So
for
the judiciary, the police, and the National Electoral Commission and the Political Party Registration Commission. Now, for critical body, then that one day we will help for stabilize this country in with democracy.
So if we take the judiciary, for example, then can talk of different reforms and when they say don't happen this BNTM, they don't make sure.
You know, Sierra Leoneans, this is Reverend Lahai's boss, Marcela Samba. Reverend Lahai go team up na State House. They levy praise on Marabio. Una listen to her.
For saving this country,
For full implementation of the review
Listen to her.
through the office of the Chief Minister,
Okay.
I want to express our gratitude to you for saving this country
Okay.
from a looming chaos. Because
This is not Reverend Lahai who works for New, showering praise on Marabio. The man who lights the fire, the man who is responsible for the destruction of the democracy. Now they praise so on June 5th, 2025. Reverend Lahai, his boss, Marcella Samba, they've been crying foul since 1900. They knew the election was rigged. They know there is no result. I've played the video for you guys. You've seen that. We've seen political violence across that country. These guys recklessly destroying democracy. Marcella Samba is here. She witnessed. She saw it. But today, people like Marcella Samba, they're all moving on. They're all moving on now, preparing for the next elections. Why? Because Marcella Samba is going to receive funding. She's going to receive funding. This is Marcella Samba again. I want you all to listen to Marcella Samba.
See, we cannot continue to do the wrong things and expect to get good results. One of the things, I'll give you an example on state institutions. If you take your minds back, we had a heated debate on the midterm census. And the institution are representing a coalition, the National Elections, what we stood our ground. Not that a midterm census was not useful,
Okay.
not that it was not useful for development purposes, but elections and governance has a calendar. Anything falling short of that calendar would interfere with the space, and it would be a cutback on what we should have mobilized as progress.
Absolutely.
So what happened was that the civil registration was supposed to take course. And we saw a number of problems ahead because these were issues we have highlighted in the 2018 elections report.
Okay.
We saw how, for example, getting credible data and accounting for the identity of every eligible citizen was a challenge.
Okay.
And so we said, can the government and people of Sierra Leone invest into a civil registration process where we can get all eligible Sierra Leoneans 18 and above to be accounted for with their names, full details, and biometric features.
All right.
That process was not something we could hold as credible. A number of people were left out. The process was slow. A number of things went wrong with the confirmation of the civil registration process. Fast forward, a year down the line, everybody is shouting, head of National Elections Watch, where are you? Problems are going on with the registration. No, but it went wrong long time ago in the past. We tried as best as possible. We intervened. We said, forget about midterm census. Concentrate on the civil data. Make sure we get it right. This is only when no eligible Sierra Leonean will be left behind. We are battered. Everything. Just think of what happened to us during that period. But we stood our ground. Today we are facing the consequence. And that is the consequences of bad governance. I've just given that one example for us to show a situation where what we should do now, we failed to do it. And then in the next couple of months we want things to be right. It cannot be right. The mistake has been done. So it's the same thing with our state institutions. I have said a couple of times through our advocacy platforms, let us holistically review the 1991 Constitution. That Constitution does not support a democratic state. What would happen 2016, 2015, 2014.
Okay.
I am going backwards. It was the SLPP who were crying. They were my best friends. I am friends with the opposition because I'm friends with democracy.
Okay.
In a democracy, you must like opposition because it's about opposing you. If you push opposition, there is no democracy.
Okay.
They were all over the place. The letters on my office table are like this in 2016, 2015, complaining.
Okay.
And it is the same issue today that APC are sending the same letters complaining.
Okay.
How do we want to continue into a political jigsaw? Why can't we fix the problem?
Okay.
Making sure that supreme executive authority, those issues that are cut back to the state and democracy, we address them.
Okay.
Appointment is a critical issue. So
Okay.
what we are having, for example, is what we call a regime-serving police. They will do anything.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Today, I feel sorry. I feel sorry for those who are benefiting. One thing I like about the police, like quote unquote, they do not change. They will go to lengths to misuse and abuse power. And when the other party comes to power, they do the same thing to them. They have never changed their stance. What you want us to do, we will do it. It should not be. We are nurturing a society, a violent society. It should not be the case. Let us try as best as possible to promote professional policing, a police that is accountable and subjected to civil oversight. That's why some of us believe that the police should be put forward to scrutiny, and those things that they have done wrong, they should account for police brutality, notwithstanding.
All right. We know that is not going to happen. So my question to Marcella Samba, what is going to change now moving forward? Now that I see that you guys are actually trying to join the SLPP, to move forward. That is what we see happening right now. The other day I saw these, tweets from European Union. And we see civil society organizations coming together. Let me put on the screen. Good. This is what I want to share with you guys, right? This is what I want to share with you guys. Good. I have it right now. So, okay. European Union in Sierra Leone. All right. Present at the National Dialogue on Sierra Leone's electoral system. So it is showing that new ECSL was European Union was present. This is what they're showing here, right? So Marcella Samba complaining, talking about 2015, 2016, all of that, what has been going on. This is what is going to change now. I'm looking at all of these people. This is the Attorney General, the illegal Attorney General, right? All of these people present, EU present, as you can see here, right here, guys. EU present at the National Dialogue on Sierra Leone's electoral system, organized by New SL 2023. Marcella Samba, of course, if she has any integrity left, would basically say, you know what? I'm done. I can do this. But no, she's not going to do it. But this is new. So the European Union, basically, look at it right here. European Union in Sierra Leone present at the National Dialogue on Sierra Leone's electoral system. We have the same pigs. We have the same bigots, tribalists, partisans, non-patriotic, unpatriotic people in these positions. The Supreme Court is the same people. PPRC is the same people. You know, the ECSL is the same people. What has changed? Masala Samba, what has changed? You guys keep complaining, you keep crying, same thing and same thing. What has changed?
The rights of police officers also, because they are performing.
What has changed? Guys, this is Masala Samba. I mean, I have everything, you know, on Masala Samba.
If they fail to do that, we are going to escalate. We are members of the West African Elections Observer Network. We are members of AFCONET, the Africa Elections Observer Network, and we are members of GENDEM, the Global Elections Observer Network. If our observers' phones are not returned in the next 48 hours, we're going to escalate to our network members, because we cannot accept that observers can be attacked at polling station. It does not happen anywhere in the world. Anywhere. This is unprecedented, and we want to condemn it in the strongest possible terms.
Presenting. All right. That was Masala Samba complaining. Poor lady, I feel sorry for her in a way, right? Technically, because she's making her efforts. But Masala Samba knows the elections was rigged. Why would she want to be a part of that? If we come now, we listen to Lahai, who works with Masala Samba, lavish in praise on Marabio. Let's watch this together. This is Lahai. I want you to watch Lahai lavish in praise on Marabio, the same man we light the fire, because with Masala Samba. Marabio saw all of these pains that Masala Samba is going through. He did not do anything. Matter of fact, then chased Masala Samba at the last minute. She had to run for her life. She had to run for her life. And then you get useless opposition that should protect people like Masala Samba, but they could not protect Masala Samba. So I say again, it's a very delicate place to be, but people have to have integrity. Masala Samba should say, you know what? The June 24th, 2023 elections, the results should be produced. I will not be part of any electioneering process in Sierra Leone if the results are not available. That is integrity. Masala Samba could find another job somewhere else around the world. She could. This is... I want you guys to listen to this guy. This is Lahai, works for Masala.
Because the aftermath of the 2023 election,
let's listen to him.
Through the office of the Chief Minister.
Remember, this guy works for Masala Samba new. This is 2025, June 5th, 2025. But this is the same man that I played a video going back to 2021 where he was crying. But today is lavish in praise on Marabio, the man who born the country down. The man who's responsible for the cries and pains that he's going through. Now he lavish praise person of State House. Listen to him. And then I would end this live. Listen to him.
Through the office of the Chief Minister, I want to express our gratitude to you for saving this country from a looming chaos. Because the aftermath of the 2023 elections did not promise a vibrant democracy until, for your smart decision to note that even though you are head of state and you have won the elections, you have to listen to the prevailing circumstances and save the nation. Thank you for agreeing to have the tripartite committee and for bending over to ensure that there was stability in the country. The issue of the tripartite committee is a very serious thing for us as observers. We have been observing elections since 2002, and we organized ourselves because we believed
that elections should be a pillar for peace and not chaos. Unfortunately, every succeeding election has ended in disagreements and potential tension and violence. So you will be leaving a legacy that will speak for you when you no longer be on the seat, of creating a situation whereby the Electoral Commission is organized in a manner whereby going against the rules may be difficult and credible elections will be ensured. So we appreciate you for that and we thank you. Noting the taste of brevity for the Chief Minister, let me just do a few acknowledgements. I want to acknowledge him for taking the bold step to accept the responsibility you gave to him to champion this cause. And I also want to acknowledge the brilliant creation of the steering committee secretariat. That was brilliant of you, sir. The establishment of that secretariat has bridged the gap between the tripartite committee, steering committee, and the public in terms of reaching out and in terms of communicating what is happening about or within the steering committee itself. Voter registration is a very key issue, sir, in electoral processes. And that's where the big problem starts. But we are happy that we have the architecture that will ensure we have a very vibrant voter registration system. And that is in the NCRA. I plead that we strengthen that institution. When NCRA is strengthened and we are able to have a data on every resident in this country, it will be a solution to a whole lot of problems that we are facing as a country. I want to say thank you to the EU. We became friends in 2016. They are the first people who agreed with us that election is not a single event, but a process that spans around the circle. And that if you only come in when elections are there, you will have missed the point. And that has proved very worthy for our operations as an election observer. Mr. President, to tell you that we are very serious about this tripartite committee recommendation implementations, as a civil society outfit, we brought together the wider civil society across the entire country in October last year and tried to reason around these recommendations and see how best we can contribute as civil society. I thank you again, Mr. Chief Minister, for accepting to be the keynote person in that commission. And what was extraordinary was the fact that you were just from the plane, the boat, and in the hall. I hope public officers will emulate that kind of energy, which we believe will help to guide the progress of this country. We have related with the Electoral Commission for a very long time. In fact, there was a marriage that was solemnized during Christian Atop's time. And that marriage has grown to a height that I was personally sponsored to go to South Korea by the Commission to train on technology in elections. And I think the marriage still holds, even though there are some malice. But we believe that can be surmountable as we move along. Thank you again, Your Excellency, and we appreciate the opportunity you've given us to give up our expressions as far as this presentation is concerned. Thank you.
All right, guys, that's Reverend Lahai. All right. I had to share all of that with you guys so you guys can see exactly what it is. You know, these people have been very unfortunate to us. They should have taken a principled position. to say that we are having elections where the results are not available and they decided to move on. They are supporting these foolish processes because they are using this as a guise to say that they are making the necessary reforms. Then they use this like for say, oh, we make all the necessary reforms. Even though we don't complain, we are making the necessary reforms so that the future elections will be free and fair. We know that in Sierra Leone, for as long as these guys continue to hold on to power, nothing and no election is going to be free and fair. And that is why we're calling on Dr. Samura Kamara to give us the updates on where we're at so we could begin planning with self accordingly moving forward in that nation. That will begin sensitize with people on the way moving forward and waiting for happen. We need to know where the process is, the ongoing political transition, waiting to stop the process. We need to have information on that so we'll be able to make informed decisions moving forward. Because there's an ongoing political transition. Waiting to stop them, waiting to hold them. Why Marabi no one for hand over power? Now the international community, the full Dr. Samura Kamara and the full Marabi, what is happening? What is the problem? We as a people, I think we have a stake in a democracy, so we have to know what is going on. We cannot just be in the dark and be acting as if we know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. But Dr. Samura Kamara has fought the good fight. We stand with them, but he needs to give us an update on where we're at. Because these people are moving on. But where we at, outside we need to know where they go on. So we could plan with self accordingly. But these guys, we have a responsibility to continue to come out here and talk about these. The problems in Sierra Leone, you see, as I don't play video phone now from 2021 to now, nothing has changed. Nothing is going to change because we have the same pigs, the same filthy animals occupying power. Nothing is going to change. It's going to be the same thing. Cry, 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 Allah, Allah, Allah. Then come back to the table. Everybody come back and continue like nothing really ever happened. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good evening. All right.